49. Cornelius, the Curious Cow. Cornelius was a very curious cow who always wondered what was happening in almost any given situation. When Horatio ate from his bale, Cornelius would always wander up, wondering what he was eating. Horatio only ever ate hay, but Cornelius was always curious and thought that one day maybe he might be eating something exciting. He watched Pablo eat all of his dinner before he rolled around in the mud. Cornelius was curious about why exactly Pablo enjoyed this, as he couldn't roll very well at all. Therefore, he waited for him to stop one day to ask him, "Why do you love rolling in the mud, Pablo?" asked Cornelius. Pablo didn't really have an answer for Cornelius. He just knew that he did, and so tried to give him a simple, "I just do" answer. Cornelius wasn't happy that Pablo was trying to give him such a vague answer, and so continued to pester him to try and get a more informative one. After attempting to get a better answer from Pablo for quite some time, Cornelius had to concede that he wouldn't get one. After all, Pablo was that busy rolling in the mud again that he knew there was no way in which he would get a sensible answer out of him now. Cornelius therefore decided he was going to go around the rest of the farm to try and find out if anybody else had any ideas about Pablo. He knew that Horatio wouldn't answer him, as he was always too busy eating. The only choices Cornelius therefore had really were Derek, the farmer's dog, and Carlos, a nearby cat from the city. Carlos was always patrolling his city, and Cornelius knew that getting hold of him would be very difficult, and therefore decided he would have to speak to Derek. Whilst Derek was always happy to talk to others, Cornelius tried not to speak to him too often, as he was always far too enthusiastic about everything. Cornelius didn't particularly like Derek's personality, as he knew that he never really had any concerns about much at all, just relaxing. After Cornelius had spoken to Derek for about 10 minutes without an answer, he felt simply too drained to continue to try and pry an answer from him any longer. Just as Cornelius was about to give up on his quest to find out why Pablo liked rolling in the mud, he remembered the farmer. If Cornelius could sneak up to the house, he might overhear the farmer talking with his wife about Pablo and find out that way why he loved it so much. Cornelius made his way up to the house and waited outside under the window ledge, listening to the farmer talk to his wife. It sounded like he had fallen lucky with their conversation, as they were talking about the pigs. As Cornelius stood there listening to them talk, he suddenly realized he was stood right outside the window, and he wasn't supposed to leave the field. Just as this thought crossed his mind, the farmer looked up and saw Cornelius stood there. Without any hesitation, the farmer went straight over to Cornelius and herded him back down into the field where he should have been. After he had been stood there for a short while, Horatio came up to him and asked if he had found the answer to his question. Clearly, he hadn't. Therefore, Horatio took the opportunity to tell him that not everything needed to have an answer, and that he should just learn to relax a little more, but maybe not as much as Derek. The end.